Hoka, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of August the 22nd, 2025. From manga to movie, what the film got right and what it didn't, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, Creek Indian from Denver, Colorado, and with me is Lee, and he is from Fountain, Colorado.
Howdy.
And from the Shires in the UK, we have the one and only Vlotty. How's it going, Vlotty?
Hello. I promise to be on my best behavior today.
Oh, you saw my thing in the chat, did you? The private chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right, Vlotty. We still
we had fun last week. I can't even remember what happened to them.
Oh, that's all right. We still love you. So anyway, how you guys?
Slightly aggressive.
Yeah. And we see we got Badman out there, and that rascal Angelus is working. So he's so there is no Angeli today, he says. So anyway, that's that, I guess. So anyway, Lee, is it as hot down there as it is up here?
Probably. It's about 28 degrees Celsius here. So it's pretty warm. But not as bad as it was previously. I think it's cooling off as we get closer to fall finally.
Yeah, I think it's like 35 up here. It's hot today. Woo, man, it's pretty tough, you know. But
that is really hot, yeah.
Yeah, about 90 degrees or whatever it is, you know, something like that. So how's it going over there in jolly old England there, Bloody?
It's been pretty crappy weather-wise, but actually this afternoon it got really nice. I finished early on Friday, so I had a lovely afternoon in the garden in the sunshine.
Okay. Well, you say you got sunshine?
Yeah, sunshine. I know it's a rare.
Wow.
Rare
I'm surprised. You know, it's kind of like that old Beatles song. You know, you can get your tan standing in the English rain, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I wish it rained a bit more. It's annoying. We've got like no water. We've had our hose pipe ban for ages now. No one's got any water. Water rates are going up. It's all just terrible.
Yeah.
And still no Alita sequel. Just
no Alita sequel yet, but we're getting there. We're gonna get one. I am super duper confident. So anyway, just want to remind everybody that we got the LA Fires fundraiser going on, and we haven't added any money recently here, but you know, hey, it's still there if you want to give some money. No amount's too small. The link is below the image on the screen there, which is also down in the description below the screen. And you can, you know, click on that thing and go to the website, and you can donate what you can afford. And we sure would appreciate it, so we can help those folks at the in LA. You know, I mean, I've already sent all the money to LA. I mean, they haven't reimbursed me for some of it already, but that's cool. So anyway, we want to help those folks out.
What's happening there?
Say again, Bloody?
What's happening there in terms of rebuilding? Are all the houses getting rebuilt?
I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. I guess before next week I should probably check that out. You know, so
I'm curious.
Yeah,
I haven't really heard much.
Yeah, there were a lot of them damaged, that's for sure, and burnt to the ground. A lot of them, you know. So you know,
hopefully not Rose's house.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, they didn't mess with Rose's house, that's for sure. Thank goodness. So anyway, but yeah, we want to help those folks out as much as we can. And we got the Alita sequel petition going on, and I don't know how many that we added from last week. I think 7 is what it is. You know, which doesn't sound like a lot, you know, but it keeps plugging along week after week. So you know, we're getting there. You know, we're approaching 170, or rather 180,000. And the ultimate goal will be 200,000. But anyway, there's a link on the screen there below the image, and that link is also down in the description. So you can click on that, and you sign the petition by entering your name and your email address, but you can specify that to be anonymous. You don't have to worry about your name and email getting out into the public. And if you want to donate some money, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can donate some money, and no amount there would be too small either, you know, but it's not a requirement. If you just sign the petition and then enter your email address, then you have done your duty as an Alita Army member. And we do have Rose's Queen Studios bust of Alita, and we're going to get this to her when she's ready for it. We'll get it to her. And from not Mentor, Ohio. It's not Mentor, Ohio. It's from
King of Prussia. That's close enough.
King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, where I was about 3 weeks ago. That's pretty cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
How's it going there, Chaos?
All right. I'll be here for a while, for some time. I messed up my live stream today because I kind of lost track of it. But,
yeah, no problem. Yeah, I caught the tail end of your stream that you did today. You know, I mean, I kind of was busy this morning, but I did manage to catch the tail end of it. So anyway, I invite everybody to go check that out. And Chaos, if you'll put the link in the private chat, I'll put that in the public chat and people can go check it out. So anyway, as I was saying, we do have Rose's Queen Studios bust of Alita. It's still in the box, and when she's ready for it, we're going to give it to her because she knows we have it, you know, and she wants it, you know. So that's this is our expression to her of our admiration, our appreciation, and affection for our queen, because she is superb, man. She's a magnificent actor, and she deserves this. So this is not a gift.
A beautiful statue and character.
So I'm sorry, Bloody.
And it's such a beautiful statue and character.
Yeah, it is. But when she's ready for it, we'll get it to her. She knows we got it, you know. And when I suspect when the sequel's greenlit is when we'll have the opportunity to get it to her, you know. And I'll tell you, if it takes this, I will drive that sucker down to LA myself, you know, to get it down there to her if we have to, you know. Or we can ship it to her, you know, if she wants it that way as well. So when she lets us know, we'll get it to her. And we got the Alita Gaming Network going on, and that's now I haven't been on there. I was on there a little bit today because I sent out the invites at the last minute for the stream here. But yeah, we you know, we have a lot of fun on this thing, and we put you know, all the links for live streams go in here as well. If you do live streaming, you can put your link in there if you're a member of the network. If you do fan fiction, if you have a short, or even like Lee has, which Lee, next week I think you're going to read, what is it, chapters 11 and 12? Is that what it is? Or I can't remember.
13 and 14.
13 and 14, yeah, because we're going to enjoy that next week, that's for sure. But if you even do shorts, I know, you know, Lee has his fanfic in there, in the fan fiction channel. Maxie has got his in the fan fiction channel. I think Channel and Panini Freak also have their fanfics in there, and so does the Creek. You know, the Creek's got a really short fanfic, but it's in there as well. You know, so if you want to go, you know, kind of view those things, read them, or in my case, we do read it in my case, but mine's on YouTube as well. But you know, it's you know, we have a lot of fun with that. If you do artwork or you do videos, you can upload that to the User Creations channel. If you do any kind of work that's maybe loosely related to Alita or not related to Alita, you can put that in the off-topic channel. And we have 3 voice channels, and you can go in there and talk to other folks on the network. It's kind of, you're not streaming or anything like that. It's just you and the individuals that are on that channel with you. And you can invite people, and you don't need me or you don't need Matu to help you with that. You can just get into that channel and invite folks and chat. You know, you can play games on it if you want.
Yeah, you can stream if you want.
Say again, Bloody?
You said you're not streaming, but you can stream if you want to.
Yeah. And we also have a watch party channel. Now, I haven't done a watch party for a while. Well, I will get to it. I've been pretty busy the past couple of months, so I haven't been able to get at it. But, you know, we're going to do another watch party here pretty soon. But you don't need to rely on me to do the watch party. If you want to do a watch party, you can do it. All you got to do is, you know, put some kind of notification in the watch party text channel. Everybody on the network will see it, and you can, you know, you can do a watch party right there in the watch party channel, and just have fun with it. You don't need my permission or Matu's permission for this. You can just go ahead and do it, you know, and we're good with that. Now, Matu and I do watch this just to make sure nothing inappropriate gets on there, but we've never, ever, ever had a problem with that. So, you know, I guess you would call us system administrators, maybe. We haven't had, our job is easy because we don't have to hardly do anything. So, but anyway, we have a lot of fun on this thing. You see the link below our little Chibi Lita mascot there. That link is also down in the description. You do have to have a Discord username to get in there. But if you get the basic Discord user name, or you get that particular, you know, login, then it's free. You don't have to pay anything. I think if you get a premium or you use Nitro or something like that, you got to pay. But, you know, it's, if you just got the basic Discord username, it's absolutely free. And then you can click on that link, and you get an invite, and you can come right in. It doesn't cost you a penny to join the Alita Gaming Network, you know, and you'll find the folks on there are really friendly, because when new members come on there, everybody waves to them and all that stuff virtually, that is. So, you know, you get a lot of, you know, get a nice reception and that kind of thing, and you can start playing with it just like we do. I know Lee's on there quite a bit as well. You play games on there, don't you, Lee?
I don't stream them or anything, just because last time I tried to, it didn't work out. Apparently my system can't really do streaming.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to do more streaming on it.
Well, you can do streaming, right, Vladdy?
Yeah, I used to stream stuff with Schmendrick normally, but he went off for a bit and I just got out of the habit. I need to get back into it.
Yeah, I guess Smendrick is he's still around. He's kind of struggling a little bit, but he's still around, you know. And the last message I got from him is he wished us all well and wanted us to continue the fight for a sequel.
Needs to be with him.
Is he still home?
Sorry?
Smendrick,
We need him in the fight.
Yeah, I can hardly understand you there, Vladi. Maybe my earphones are not set up.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's like you're bleeding over or something, but
I've got a fan on. Maybe that's messing it up.
Well, let me see what I can do about that. Let's try it now, Vladi.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what was it you were saying, Vladi?
I was just saying we need him in the fight. He can't just wish us well for the best. He needs to be in it.
Yeah, he needs to be in the fight with us. That's right. He wants to be, I think. But I think he's getting a really big monitor, isn't he, Vladi? I think something like a 19, not 19 inches, but something larger than that.
Yeah, he's got all these tiny monitors, doesn't he? Instead of just one big one, he's got like 5 14-inch monitors or something weird like that. Yeah,
real small monitors, which you know, he's got. I guess he's got an affliction with his eyes, so he can't really see anything. It's really small. Yes, he needs a huge monitor, actually.
He needs a bigger one.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we got all the preliminaries out of the way there. So let's go ahead and start chatting about this. And of course, Vladi, you know, I've got slides for all this.
Nice.
So, but anyway, what we're going to talk about is, you know, how Alita is different and how she's similar between the movie and the manga. And of course, we're going to put a lot of detail into Alita. We got some questions we'll ask folks on the panel and folks in the chat, you know, that you can respond. And with Ito and Hugo, we got, you know, we got a little more detail on them too, because they're pretty prevalent characters in the movie, for sure. Now, the rest of them, I guess the Pan's got a pretty prevalent he's a pretty prevalent character, but we didn't not going too much into his character because they're pretty similar between the movie and the manga, actually. But certainly we're going to talk about Gerhard, and she is replacing the individual in the manga called Gonzu, and he is Gonzu in the manga is Ito's assistant, or is he? He's another cyber doc, isn't he, Lee? Something like that.
I was trying to remember. I remember he does assist Ito sometimes, but I think he's kind of like a mentor to Ito a little bit. I think. Yeah, Bad Man, you're out there. You would know this for sure. So, I guess as Maxie's the Pope of the Alita Army, I guess Bad Man, we're going to have to make you the professor of the Alita Army, perhaps, something like that. So, but anyway, he's Gonzu is in the manga and in the anime, actually. He's in that one as well. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Grishka and Makaku. And in the movie, Grishka doesn't have much of a backstory. Makaku's a little different, but they're basically the same character, but they just changed names. I guess they like that name Grishka better, but they actually made them the same, pretty much the same. And then, of course, there's Zapan, the character that Ed Skrein played, and he did a great job on. Ed Skrine's a really great actor. I really like him a lot. He was super in Midway. I really enjoyed that movie. He got that Brooklyn accent down perfectly, so it was really nice.
He was also in the new Jurassic World movie.
Yeah, and he was in another. I think he was in a Transporter remake too. I think the
Jurassic World movie. He was reunited with Vector.
Yeah. Now I don't have Vector up here. I'm sorry.
The one that came out this year.
Yeah.
I wish you'd asked him.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything, but he's in it with Vector. They don't both last the whole movie. I'll just say.
Yeah. But we did, we got some other kids. Now you'd probably notice we don't have Vector up there, and we don't have Shirin or Screwhead or any of them up there. We're going to talk about them all together, because, I think, certainly Vector has a prominent role, but, I guess I could have added him up there, but, we're going to talk about him after we talk about some of these other, characters and some of the other elements in the movie itself. And certainly the Damascus Blade is pretty different, between the manga and the movie. And then, of course, we'll talk about Zalem and Teferis. They're the same pretty much, I guess. Just the name is different, But they, if you see them side by side, they look pretty similar. Of course, one's in a movie and one's in a manga or graphic novel or whatever you want to call it. So, but we're going to talk about that as well. But that's going to be pretty similar, I think. So anyway, any thoughts, you guys, before we get into each individual one of these things?
No, I just adapted it very well.
Well, Vladi, I think everything we're going to talk about here, Vladi, I think you've read this far manga, so you'll be good for that. And I know Chaos has read the manga for sure, and Lee has as well as I.
If they complete the Motorball arc, then I've read beyond the book. Like if they bring Jashigan back.
Yeah, well, we're going to chat about Jashigan, but Jashigan, we're going to talk about him with some other, folks. So basically, I got like one slide that has all of them on there. So we'll get to that one. So anyway, with Alita, how she is as a cyborg or a person or whatever. It's somewhat similar to the manga. The couple of the differences in the manga, and I think in the Credenza version, they don't say "I do not stand by in the presence of evil." She doesn't have that line in that manga. The Viz, I don't know about the Viz because I don't have the Viz translation. Bad Man, I don't know if you got the Viz translation, but I know that line's not in the box set version, which is a credenza version.
Yeah, there's a couple of lines that are in the movie that aren't in the new translation, but are in the old one, I think.
Yeah.
Roll your head around in the street. Isn't that one in?
Yeah, and neither was Fuck Your Mercy either, I don't think.
That's not in either, is it? Fuck Your Mercy, or is it?
No, I don't think it is in the manga. Fuck Your Mercy.
No,
That's my favorite line in the whole movie. That one is, because I can. Yeah, and God, Rosa delivered it with such power too. God Almighty. So, and of course, the orange scene itself is not in the manga, and the heart scene kind of is, but it's different. You know, like for instance, in the movie, we all know that Alita offers Hugo her heart. You know, which is kind of a touching scene, but in the manga, she, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say offers it to Jashigan, but basically she pulls it out of her chest like that. And, you know, they're about to do an arm wrestling thing. And she says,
the circumstances for it and the motivation for it were very different.
Very different. That's right. Because she was offering Hugo her heart, you know, as an act of love and trust and that kind of thing. Whereas Jashigan, it was more of a competitor thing, you know, and if you beat me, you can have my heart, you know, or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so Badman says, I do not stand by the presence of evil is in the Viz version, but not the cadenza. Yeah, that's what I was, that's what I see. That credenza version is the box set, basically. So, yeah, I know it's not in there because I would have remembered that. So now, Badman, I don't recall seeing in the box set version of Fuck Your Mercy either. I don't know if that's in the Viz version. I don't know. You can, you probably know that, but you know, I know it's not. I don't recall seeing it in the box set version, so or credenza version. So, all right, guys, what's any thoughts about any other differences? And I got about 4 or 5 questions we can ask and talk about after this. So, anything about these, particularly these 3 kind of differences or similarities? And of course, in one case with the orange version, the scene where she bites into that orange, you know, that's not in either version, I don't think. So, any thoughts about this?
Both of those kind of, I don't know, softened her character a bit compared to the manga.
Okay.
The orange scene and the heart scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the orange scene was put in the movie mainly to sort of add some context to Alita as a character as far as her memory loss.
Yeah, exactly.
And how she is different from or her body is different from an organic body, and that Ito comments that, you know, certain parts of her systems are working properly based on what she does there, because they don't have nearly as much time to go into developing stuff.
And one thing they didn't develop that they could have, I guess, but it would have taken longer, and they were kind of constrained by a 2-hour, you know, I guess, limit. But, you know, the orange version itself, if, you know, Alita is a Martian, basically. She's not an Earthling, you know, she's an extraterrestrial, really, you know, and it's understandable if people on Mars don't, if they've lived there for a couple of 100 years and they, you know, they got their own, you know, got their own food source that they're growing and stuff like that. And then perhaps oranges don't grow on Mars, you know, something like that. So it would be understandable if she didn't know what an orange was anyway, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, with her retrograde amnesia, it's hard to say one way or the other, because retrograde amnesia affects a lot of memories, but leaves like basic knowledge, learned behavior, like dressing yourself, feeding yourself, various other things like that, language skills, leaves all of that untouched, but affects everything else practically.
Badman says they probably grow oranges on Mars.
I would imagine something like an orange grows on Mars, considering you have to have citrus fruits in your diet.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but like you say, Lee, the fact that she's got amnesia, that, you know, even if there were oranges on Mars,
yeah, we're gonna have to wait till the sequels to unravel any more of that.
Yeah, and that heart scene, you know, that was for me in the movie, that was really touching. You know, it's you know, basically Alita offering her whole self, Hugo. You know, I mean, that's it. You know, trusting him. Of course, she didn't know he was a cyborg jacker, but I have a feeling she might have offered him anyway. You know, because she trusted him so much.
Yeah, she was. Like she said, it was all or nothing with her. So if she was supporting someone in attaining their dreams, someone she cared about a great deal, she's going to support them in their endeavors. For me, the biggest difference between that was just how shockingly different the manga version was compared to it, because in the movie, it was sort of an act of love and self-sacrifice. In the manga, she was almost self-destructive in doing so.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I mean, she didn't know how. But it was like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's kind of almost self-destructive. I mean, she was basically willing to wager her own existence on an arm wrestling contest.
Yeah, which to me is pretty irresponsible, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that was more of a act of pain and rage.
They're both crazy in their own different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it as, you know, when I read that scene, it was really cool how they, you know, Jashigam's chi against her, you know, antimatter, microreactor heart, the power in that, you know, how that balanced out, you know, that was pretty cool, you know. But to me, it was like she was saying, I don't care if I live or die. That's kind of the way it sounded. I've got the kind of the thought I had about it.
Oh yeah, AKA points out. I rather agree with this. I think the manga Alita has a good deal more pride. Is a bit more prideful than the movie Alita was.
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel like she's because it was the movie form. I think she'd be more prideful in the sequel. She'd be more like that in the sequel.
Yeah, very possibly. Yeah, if they develop it a bit more.
She went through such a it was all about her relationship with Hugo, really. Didn't quite get to all the notable version of her character.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Vladi, because at the end of the movie, she was more like Manga Alita than she was what we saw up to that point, you know, where she basically killed Vector, you know, and he's unarmed, you know, he's defenseless against her, and she kills him, you know. So I mean, now I understand why she does. I mean, he's threatening her family, and you know, that's something you can't do with her. She's going to take you out if you do that, you know. But my thought here is that she's kind of I can't find the word. I don't want to say psychotic, because it's not psychotic. You know, it's more of a, she's ruthless. You know, more ruthless than she would be. You know, like she was in the beginning of the movie, certainly, and then up to that point.
Well, the circumstances between her and Vector are different in the movie too. Vector is a willing participant in Nova's schemes. I mean, he is directly affected by Nova. Nova can directly manipulate him, which gives Vector a great deal of ability to threaten the people she cares about.
Yeah.
So he's not like in the manga where he was just some, you know, low-life crime lord who was, you know, doing his own thing. He is directly beholden to Nova.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
In the manga, there wasn't the same mind control aspect, was there, with Vector and Nova?
No.
Okay,
Vector in the manga wasn't mind controlled at all.
It wasn't Vector, it was someone else. There was a computer monitor that came out of his mouth too.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't like you know, like the telepresence chip in Yarushka's head, where he could ride people.
Yeah,
wasn't the same thing.
Nova did essentially ride somebody, but it was a different guy. It wasn't Vector at all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nearly as prevalent either. I think it was like only one or two instances of it.
Yeah.
In the movie, it was like a major plot point. He had like eyes and puppets everywhere.
Yeah, I see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing at the end. I see everything. Ooh, man. So yeah, even if you kill the guy he's riding, you're not rid of him yet. So
yeah. And the worst part about that is that if Nova is able to force the telepresence technology onto somebody or trick someone who has cybernetics into installing a piece of hardware that has it as a sort of hidden feature, he can take over somebody you care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he can, in the manga, he can make a very convincing hologram or illusion. When Alita walked into the Grand Inn, she saw like chaos on the table, and she just like reaches through it because it's not really there. And just it's like, you didn't think that? You think that would be that easy?
Yeah, Badman says that telepresence chip, it's just one way, or he says probably having a two-way chip where either participant in that link can take over the other one. That's
well, that's only if
vector,
the technology allows that sort of thing. I mean, it could be hand waved away that there are safeguards in it so that that vulnerability just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
I think it's just by using a specific device, and you don't really reach to Nova's mind. You just reach to the computer he's using. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I guess the person could be running firewall software in their head. Yeah, maybe not. So, if you had a cybernetic body, but you kept your brain, like Alita did, would you still feel like you? Now, you're in your, in this last chapter I read, Lee, in your fanfic, you kind of speak to this, don't you?
A bit. That is something that Jason's going to have to deal with. This is actually mentioned or talked about a little bit in the novelization for the movie, where Ito, or it was Ito or Gerhard's in her monologue. She's basically saying that if you even get certain chemical imbalances too far off when you're putting somebody into a new body, you can end up with a whole slew of psychological issues, including body dysmorphia and things like that. So it would probably depend really heavily on the skill of the person doing the transfer. So you'd want somebody who is as talented as, Doc Ito, as skilled as it. You'd also probably want the highest end or the best technology or best quality of cybernetics to make sure it all works as well as it can with a organic brain, so you don't end up with little hiccups that could cascade into something worse.
Well, the other thing is that even if you're a TRC, drugs still affect you, like Ed.
Yeah, because they do have to take drugs, don't they?
Well, Ed was a painkiller addict.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would think also it'd be similar to somebody
I'm just saying that painkillers affected how Ed could feel pain, even though he wasn't cyborg. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, the sensors, sensors do that. But what I was about to say though is that, sometimes I guess folks, if you put somebody in another body like that, and they still feel like me? I mean, in other words,
there was the extras on the DVD where Zapan is, or Ed Skrein playing the part of Zapan, is talking about how when you have a cybernetic body, the sense of touch is reduced a bit. And that would probably have some psychological effect for a while, at least, depending on the person, until they got accustomed to it. But it would probably feel, without sufficient psychological therapy and support, it could probably very easily start feeling rather alien very quickly. And it might even be overwhelming to somebody who's not prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that maybe the drugs they would use too for this, if you got like mostly, you're not a total replacement cyborg, but maybe you got 2 arms, and one of your legs or something like that. You'd probably have to have something akin to anti-rejections medication, but it would be more or less, something like that, because your body.
That's the thing. It seems like the prevalence of cybernetics seems to indicate that they might have sort of, well, for lack of a better term, a hand-wavium level of medical technology that allows them to rather trivially treat that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's probably a whole lot of other considerations, but it doesn't seem like rejection is necessarily that big of a deal.
Maybe not.
But this is I was going to say, AK also points out the alienating feeling. Basically, if you have a cyborg body that's strong enough and durable enough, other people who still have flesh and blood bodies and ailments, you're probably going to start losing some connection with that, and basically being a bit more possibly irritated with somebody who experiences a lot of that, because you can no longer really relate.
I don't think hand-wavium is an element on the periodic table there, Batman. I don't think
it's actually a term that a friend of mine from California, who we ran tabletop games with, he mentioned it. It was basically referring to how sometimes if you're writing a story and you've got like a certain technology, or maybe if it's a fantasy story, some kind of high magic element to it, it sort of hand waves away problems that may normally arise. You just sort of hand wave it away as, it's taken care of behind the scenes kind of thing. And you don't bother going into details.
Yeah, and I think the fact that, sight is such a powerful sense, that as long as you had sight, where you could see things, and they put your brain in another body, like Alita's body, and you would still be seeing things. To me, it would seem like you would still feel like you, but it would certainly feel strange. That's for sure.
Well, that's the thing. If you're like just sitting in a chair, if you're if you've lived your entire life in a certain body and it feels a certain way, just to sit in an easy chair or something like that, and you get this new heavier metal body, and you go and sit in that same chair, it's probably not going to feel the same, and you're suddenly going to find yourself feeling different somehow.
Yeah, almost like maybe you're floating, right? Because you're sitting there, but if your sensation of touch or feeling is not the same as in a regular body,
not even just that, just the way you sink into it, the way your body puts itself in it. It's like the positioning isn't going to necessarily be the same. It's all going to be, kind of just a little off. I think uncanny valley might be a good term for that. You suddenly have a sort of like an uncanniness to it that may take you a while to become adjusted to. It's like your own body suddenly feels like an alien thing.
Yeah, but I think you would adjust, though. I mean, as long as you didn't have some other psychological issues going on, I think you would adjust easily. I don't know if it'd be easy, but you would adjust eventually.
How functional the body is in terms of touch response and sensation and everything.
Yeah, I would imagine a high quality body that's got a lot of the
even feel more than human.
Yeah, as many parallels to an original organic body as possible, like a better sense of touch, parts that maybe look closer to a human body and less mechanical. That might all help reduce that a bit.
You mean like texture sensors?
Something like that, yeah. The ability to sense, to see, to hear, to smell, to taste. I mean, all of that can have a significant effect on how a person perceives the world around them. And if the body that you're perceiving that world through isn't like your other one, it can take a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, I wonder if by eyesight they connect artificial eyes to your brain, and you look at stuff. Would you see the same colors? In other words,
I was actually wondering about that. I was thinking it's like, if I have Jason put in a full cyborg body, is everything going to be suddenly shifted to a different hue a little bit? And it's not like red isn't going to look as red or something like that. Well,
it would be like, he in his regular body, he would see maybe the color red, and then they put him in his cyborg body, and he's got a cybernetic eye. Well, he's only got one cybernetic eye in your story. I'm wondering if he points at something and says, "Oh, that's a red ball," and Alita would say, "No, it's not. It's blue."
Well, that's the thing. He's got an organic eye, so if he had one eye that was a little off, he might see things kind of weirdly, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of your eyes are cybernetic, and both of them are off shifted a little bit. But yeah, then that brings up the thing. It's like, what if one is off shifted one way and the other is off shifted the other way? That could cause them, some.
And it could be could be as different too as seeing things like in color, like you do with your regular eyes, and then you put these cybernetic eyes, and it's maybe more gray shifted, or maybe even as far as say a black and white, like the old black and white televisions. Maybe some colors, but it would be maybe duller,
or maybe
duller,
one eye is a lower quality. You get scan lines.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of weird, to see like that. I think you would still feel like you, though, but it would be an adjustment period for sure,
I have to wonder if maybe it'd be similar to like somebody who's had both their legs lost on like an accident or on the battlefield or something like that, and they get new prosthetics and they have to learn how to use them.
Yeah.
Might be similar to that in some way.
Yeah. So what do you think, Lottie? If you had a total replacement cyborg body, would you still feel like you?
I think yes, probably. I'd have all the same thoughts. Obviously, I'd be freaked out by everything feeling different, but I think my consciousness would still be the same. But obviously, it would take a psychological toll on you for sure. And like, we talk about cyborg bodies, but technically, you could be conscious even without a body. Like, I have no mouth, but I must scream type thing.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up without any kind of anthropomorphic machine,
without any senses or even limited senses.
Just like, what would you even experience? What is I suppose Shiram in the box, is she still feeling everything? Because she still looks with her eyes, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's still.
It could be the only sense that was working was her eyesight at that point. So she had sensory deprivation except for the eyes. Her vision was the only thing she had.
All of the body parts connected, like via a nervous system.
Or her hands
look like it necessarily.
Well, her hands looked like they had wires running out of them. So I wonder if of course, nothing was touching them.
Yeah. It could be that. It could also be that those were some kind of life support system to keep the flesh alive. So it would be viable when it got up to Zalem.
Yeah.
For whatever the hell it is that Nova was using them for.
Something creepy, probably.
No doubt. Yeah. Almost certainly.
What do you think, Chaos? If you had a total replacement cyborg body, would you still feel like you?
I don't know. They all see regular visible light, and Chaos is blind, so I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, I think 50 years from now, I'll find out.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. If your capabilities are above what you're used to, that can cause a bit of a shift in getting used to it. Like if you're stronger, especially if you're a good deal stronger and faster than you're used to having been, you could end up being clumsy for a good while as you try to get used to your new speed and maneuvering that body.
Kind of like Flash was in the theatrical release of Justice League. Maybe he was tripping over his own feet a lot, And I think they did not do the character a lot of justice there, because in the comics he's not like that, But I guess they did it for grins and giggles, I guess. But
I think with Flash, his senses also speed up to match whatever he's doing, so it's not really a lot of discontinuity for him.
In the director's cut, he was pretty good with it. The only problem was that he didn't have his suit on when he rescued the girl from the car crash, so he destroyed his own chute because they couldn't take the friction. But otherwise, he knew exactly what he was doing in the crash.
Yeah. Well, I know when you drive a car, you're certainly driving a car a lot faster than you run or walk. But the thing of it is, your brain does adjust, and you're able to process, things that are happening around you and react. If another car comes through, you get out of the way. I mean, you still can react, but I think in your body it would be a little different because you're more intimately connected. That would be something you'd have to get used to. I think.
If you got more speed and strength, just taking a step could require a little bit more thought, so you don't overstep or something. Or like for a doorknob, you don't want to break the doorknob off.
Yeah, if you shake somebody's hand, you don't want to break the bones in their hand when you shake their
that
hand.
too.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who was he was a big guy, and he was a little panicked one time getting out of my truck, and the handles in that Mazda truck were plastic. He ended up just casually snapping the handle off trying to get out.
Jeez.
Yeah. So something like that, I think, would be a consideration if you had a stronger, faster new body.
Yeah, bad man. It depends on whose hand you were shaking. I agree, bad man. Yeah, I can think of somebody. If I shook their hand right now, I would kind of really, I'd grind.
Wouldn't hold
down
back
on
as
it,
much.
but no, I would not. So anyway, but we won't go there. So anyway, what scene in the movie made you feel like Alita was more human than machine? Now, we've kind of talked about this in the past. Is she still human? You know, but Lee, what do you think?
I can't really think of a single scene that made her seem more human than machine. She always seemed just pretty human, overall, to me at least.
Yeah.
I mean, even when she was doing things like she was on the diagnostic table and had her plates off, some of her body covering off, and Ida was doing diagnostics. Even when she took her heart out, I mean, none of it's made her seem really less human to me, at least.
Yeah. It's like she's probably more in touch with her machine side, but yeah, I agree with you. Particularly that heart scene. I mean, that's extremely human right there, you know. So
yeah.
What do you think, Lottie? Is there anything in the movie that made you feel Alita was more or less human?
She's the like epitome of humanity. She's totally selfless, and she's so like loving and everything.
Yes.
That's the whole point of it. She's all machine, but she's more human than like anyone.
Yeah, when she was with Hugo on the kissing bridge too, she was extremely human there, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Chaos, any thoughts on this?
I don't know. I mean, in the manga, it's pretty normal for people to have these prosthetic limbs. Plenty of people walk around as TRCs.
Well, I do. You know, I think. Well, to me, the whole movie, Alita seemed human to me. I just.
It's
you know, I don't.
It's all the little relatable things like how much she loves chocolate and everything, stuff that everyone sort of relates to. We all go through that journey of like growing up and experiencing everything. And
well, like when
it makes you want to be like that open, like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I was as human as she was, rather than just like a jaded millennial.
Well, when she bit into that orange too, that was a human reaction right there. Like, ugh, you know, like that. Yeah, that was a very human reaction right there because, you know, that's a pretty, it's really bitter, you know. So for me, I think. Well, we've had streams that touched on this. Even when Alita, you know, has the Imaginos bodies, she's completely synthetic there. Now, I'm not going to say she's not human because I think she's still human. Now, she gets a little arrogant from time to time in that body because of the power it has, you know, but she still has retained her humanity even in those bodies. Yeah. You know, so I've never felt like she was more machine than human ever. You know, I think she's just always, for me, she was a human, you know?
Yeah, for me, that kind of thing never really even entered into it because especially when I was in the VA and you'd see some of the guys who lost limbs and such like that. I mean, does that make them less human if they get prosthetics to replace those lost limbs? No, it's, you know, it's a prosthetic body in this case.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's certainly, to me at least, still human. I mean, if that were the case in the real world where somebody got most of their body replaced with prosthetic machinery to regain function, doesn't make them any less human.
Yeah, that's why it's so offensive to call Alita a robot. Just basically
that bugs me when I see that on the internet. I see a robot, no, she's not a robot, damn it. She's just not, So anyway, that's like Tilly Lockey. She's got 2 artificial hands, and she's very human, I think. Yeah, Tilly's a really sweet person too. I watch some of her videos sometimes. She's really great,
I need to listen to her podcast. Has the first episode come out yet?
I haven't even kept up on that, I'm afraid.
It's called Tilly Talks Tech, I think. She just revealed. She was just showing off her like neon sign she's got for it. I assume it'll be in the background. It might not have started yet, so don't worry, guys.
Yeah, we looked at it. Would that be on YouTube, you think, Lottie?
I'm not sure. I think it's called Tilly Talks Tech. Search like
let me
podcast. And then
let me see if I can.
Tilly Talks Tech.
Tilly Talks Tech. Okay.
You probably need Tilly Lockey in the search as well, because it's probably not well known enough yet.
Yes. Well, it looks like she's got. Yeah, it looks like she's got some TikTok. One of them. I just did a search on it on YouTube.
Is it not the full podcast?
I don't know. Let's see, it's not a podcast. It looks like just a short. So, let's see if I can see anything. How TikTok? Well, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, there. Oh, okay.
What?
Oh no, that's TechX Media. It's English official.
I think it's called Tilly Talks. It may not have started. She was just unwrapping like a neon sign. I assume it's going to be in the backdrop of the podcast.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I don't see anywhere.
Oh, she may also be a one of those Twitch type things too. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be Twitch.
Yeah, so if it's not on the YouTube platform, then it might not show up on there. So it's hard to say.
But I'm wondering though. She does have a short Tilly Talks Tech on there, and it's if it's TikTok, then well, I can't play it because I don't want to. Okay, okay. Looks like it's a short, and it doesn't say if it's where it's from. It's a promo video basically. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. It might be on TikTok, or it could even be on Instagram, maybe. Although I don't think you can do any streaming on Instagram. So
you used to be able to.
Oh, you can? Well, that's right. I guess Rosa
did a book thing, didn't she?
Yeah, that's right. Rosa did that one thing, didn't she? Read that I will not. I will not attend or something by Mark Resnick or whatever. Yeah, that's right. She did that. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't really though. She just said it was, and then she disappeared.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, she did that one on March of 2020, and she was off of the internet not long after that, wasn't she, Bloody?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact timeline.
Okay, well, anyway, on to the next one. Now, this is kind of speaking to that little short, or that little segment there in the movie where, she asks Ito, can a human love a cyborg? I think so. I mean,
to me, it's kind of a redundant question. It's like, can a human love an augmented human?
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it sounds like to me. It's like, can a human love a human who's augmented? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Certainly you can,
Yeah. But I guess it might sort of kind of hint at a little bit of a disparity between augmented humans and unaugmented humans. There might be sort of a little bit of a barrier there, I guess, that they're trying to hint at with that. I mean, I remember in the novelization, Ito has always, it was mentioned that, okay, so it may not be any actual episodes out since it's just a trailer.
Yeah, it might not have started yet. It's on the way though, so be sure to give it a follow on your podcast platform.
I want to see that. Okay, now back to this, I guess. Is that what she's really asking, though? Can a human love a cyborg? Well, I think so. I think she's.
It could be that there might be some doubt in her mind. It might be expressing some of the doubt as to whether or not she feels that she's completely human, because she does ask that or mention that to Hugo on the bridge. When the two of them were standing out there, she does ask him if it bothers him that she's not completely human. So it might voice some of the doubt that she has as to just how human she perceives herself to be, maybe.
Well, what I liked about his response too was a couple of times, maybe 3 times before that, he had really like a dumbass response, you know, like when he picks her up, you know, after she saves the little dog, you're heavy. You know, oh, come on, man, give me a break. You don't say that, you know. And then that other time when, you know, she asked about him going to Zolom.
I don't think that's that. I don't think that's that offensive.
I do. I think it is. Yeah, exactly.
She's a cyborg, so I don't think she would take it as like, oh, he's just called me fat. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I still think it's a dumbass thing to say.
Heavy, like, it's just it's not like just saying a woman's fat.
I kind of agree with AKA here, because she does ask human. Hugo, does it bother you? I'm not completely human. She has some pretty deep feelings for Hugo, and I think
well, in the novelization, at least, her berserker body does emulate every function of an organic body. So
yeah, and in the novelization, they speak to Alita coming back after a long night. You know, I think, you know, there's no doubt who she was with.
I think they said like doing what teenage like lovers do or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, what was it, Batman? It asks if some Karsia inspired by the fact she pulled the arms off of an organic person and twisted away. And then, yeah, okay. Well, the body is definitely
something like that. Yeah, because the berserker body is more of a weapon system than anything else.
Yeah, it's
the fact that it can emulate a human body's functions is probably more to keep the berserker soldier grounded in some way psychologically. But first and foremost, it's a weapon system.
Well, in that doll body right there, there's no adaptations there for that kind of thing anyway. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that was more due to Ito's reticence to letting his daughter become more than just his little girl, possibly.
Yeah. That's a really fatherly thing too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got, you know, I've never had a daughter, but, you know, my stepdaughter was already out of the house when I met my second wife. So, you know, so I don't know what that's about, you know, but it would seem to me that if I had a daughter, and you know, I would really be interested in what this guy is going to take her out. What is he all about? You know, that's kind of what I'd be after. I'd say, well, okay, well, what are you guys going to do? You know, stuff like that. I'd be really interested in that, you know, because it seems to me that a father would be really protective, you know, of daddy's little girl, you know, is what it would be, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, what about when daddy's little girl can bench press a pickup truck and generate high levels of plasma?
Well, you know, I've calculated what her strength is. She can bench press 3,200 pounds. That's a car. That's a small car.
I would imagine it's a small Mazda compact pickup truck.
Well, I think that's the low end of what she can do too, because all I had to go on. That's all I had to go on was her picking up that Gatling gun. You know, I mean, she seemed to hold that pretty easily, you know, so I don't know which, you know, for sure. I think she could bench press at least 3,200 pounds. That's what I think. Well, how many kilos is that? I'd have to calculate that, I guess. 1,500 kilos maybe, or 1,400 kilos, somewhere in that area. Holy
over a metric ton.
Yes. That's another thing with her too, particularly in her berserker body, but even in the doll body, but in the berserker body, because I remember seeing some videos on YouTube about what if Supergirl was your girlfriend, you know? You know, things could get out of hand, you know, and she's not really mad at you or anything, but she's so powerful, you know, so, you know, many orders of magnitude stronger than a human. She could hurt you very badly, you know, with,
well, there was a episode of the Justice League animated series where I think it was when Superman goes up against Darkseid and basically comments that he feels like he lives in a cardboard world, or a world made of cardboard.
Yeah, that was the series. That was the series finale for Justice League.
Yeah, he has to be very careful with everything he does, every movement he makes, so he doesn't accidentally break something or someone.
Yeah. But it seems to me, though, yeah, there we go, bad man. Yeah, 1,400 kilos. I wasn't that far off, was I? 14 to 15 is what I said. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's about, holy crap. That is 10 times stronger than the Creek. That's for sure. You know, I mean, holy crap. But yeah, I mean, I think if you know, I don't want to get too untoward here with this, of course, or get creepy, but if you and Alita were in a really intimate relationship and, you know, you were making love, I mean, she could hurt you really badly, you know, especially if she got really excited.
Which actually goes into something that maybe there's some sort of a, possibly a subconscious step down feature that
could be
limits dangerous levels of strength to prevent you from hurting somebody you don't mean to.
Yeah, that's right. That's possible. Yeah. And of course, maybe her control is such that too, because, you know, everybody has strength and they know how to, you know, what's too hard when you're gripping something, you know, you don't always grip something always as hard as you can grip it. So, you know, with her, I guess the subsystems in her body would probably regulate that to a degree too, you know, so
yeah,
I don't know. So what do you think, Lottie? Well, I know what Lottie's going to say. Do you think love can exist between a human and a cyborg?
Yeah, of course, because cyborgs are just humans.
Yeah, they're just augmented humans, as Lee said.
Yeah.
What about it, Chaos? Do you think that?
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Happens, you know. Why do you think old people get together? Similar to that. I mean, in some ways. I mean,
well, Alita and Hugo do tell each other.
Got them there. I mean, I'm just saying that cyborgs are sterile, but they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hugo and Alita do tell each other they love each other. I mean, you know, he tells her that in
I'm not saying
you know,
that
in
they
the
don't
church.
love. I'm just saying that there would be effects to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, given how Shimira was, she wouldn't really want a cyborg.
Yep.
I'm just saying Shimira wouldn't want a cyborg because she clearly likes children.
Yeah, she clearly likes children. Or maybe birth control is not a thing in those days. In the future.
I think it was. I think she just chose to be the mother of those kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that Shimira just decided she wanted a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does devotion mean in a world where bodies are replaceable? I don't think it changes anything to me. Do you?
It doesn't seem like it would, really.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you take, well, now, you know, Tilly's not a TR cyborg for sure, but she, you know, her having 2 prosthetic hands, she still loves her parents. You know? I mean, I don't think it makes any difference to me. What do you think, Lee?
I can't imagine that it would necessarily change that much about it, really, if anything. If you're devoted to someone, you're devoted to someone, no matter what vessel they end up riding around in.
Yeah. Particularly if you or the other person, not that this would be a requirement, but if, for like, say you have your brain, like there, like that bullet up top there, if you still had your brain, that doesn't change the way you think. You know, I mean, you would still, I think think the same way about somebody you cared about, I think.
Now, granted, it could have some, the body that someone's in could have some impact on it. I mean, if you are in love with someone of the opposite gender, and they suddenly find themselves in a body for whatever reason that's not the one that of a similar gender, there may be, at the very least, some amount of adjustment that would have to be made. I don't know if you've ever heard of, I can't remember what it's called. Shoot. It was a Netflix series based off of a novel series. Something Carbon or other. Where basically people
Altered Carbon?
Altered Carbon, that's what it was, yes.
Yeah.
Where people's soul, as it were, their consciousness, was inside of a tiny device that was placed at the base of the skull, and bodies were called sleeves, where if you changed a body, it was called being re-sleeved. And sometimes that seemed to cause a little bit of a trip up in a relationship between two people.
Yeah. Badman said that Zapan, basically, his only devotion was to his face. I kind of Badman disagree with that, because he did fall in love with Sarah in the manga, and he was devoted to her. So yeah, he changed though. Sarah changed him, I guess. So.
Well, he seemed to have a little bit of
in the movie.
Say what?
What's that?
Does he care more about his face in the movie than in the manga?
Yeah.
I feel like, what are they going to do in the sequel? Because I feel like he would just be able to fix his face fairly easily in the movie world, but in the manga, like, it's still got like bandages on and stuff, right?
Well, in the manga, he had his face fixed, but then he ends up tearing it off after he has that breakdown with seeing Alita on the big screen. But you also had quite a bit of time pass in the manga too. You had like a couple of years pass where he, I guess, had some kind of a breakdown. Sarah finds him in some back alley or something like that, sort of nurses him back to something resembling a healthy state of being, I guess. Helps him get his face fixed up, and he sort of enters into a new life. And then that all gets shattered when he sees Alita being advertised for on the screen or something like that.
Thing.
Yeah. And then he just sort of goes to pieces again.
Yeah. Which maybe revived his devotion to his face, because he probably remembered getting his face cut off.
Or something. It seemed like he just got psychologically damaged in the manga.
Yeah.
And unless they have some of that carry over into the movie, I'm not sure how they're going to manage that in the movie.
Well, if they put the motorball arc in the Badlands arc in the second movie, particularly the motorball arc, and Zapan is in it, we will probably see that scene, I think.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
The perfect part is he's got the skull on his back. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if those are tats or
no, that's carvings. Like, that was an engraved mural on his back. The Mayan calendar.
Yeah, the Mayan calendar. Yeah, that's right. So I was about to say Aztec, but it's Mayan. That's right.
That as a Hot Toys figure. That would be awesome to have. It looks so great with all the detail and the shiny body.
Yeah.
Looks so great next to Alita as well.
Okay, Angela said that he would say that his devotion is still Sarah. Yeah. But his face is more of a trigger for PTSD. Yeah, that's probably true, Angelus, which overwhelmed his devotion to Sarah and consumed him. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he mourned Sarah, didn't he? He was really sorry,
yes.
And
he was very broken up over that.
Yeah, he blamed Alita for it too, for him killing Sarah. So, yeah.
That's the thing. It wasn't even intentional. It was an accident, but it's still. Yeah.
But he still did it. Yeah. So. Yeah, didn't he have her head in a bottle or something? Not a bottle,
in a big jar.
Container. Yeah.
He
That's
kept her
kind of
head in
morbid.
well, it's a Kishiro, comic, and
Yeah,
Kishiro does morbid
yeah.
pretty well, I think.
I
And
think he
rather
does.
frequently.
Yes, he does very well on morbid.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, yeah. I don't think devotion changes just because you're in love with a cyborg or the cyborg's in love with you or whatever. I think some things change. I mean, the way probably the fact that they go through that period of adjustment, and maybe they that having more strength, more speed, stuff like that, they maybe fall in love with themselves a little bit, because they got all this extra power, but I think eventually when they get used to it, their devotion is still with the
It could probably also depend on the body too. Depending on what sort of body, the appearance, its power level, that kind of thing might, make different adjustments necessary.
Yeah. Now with Alita, she doesn't remember her human body. Now in the manga, it's quite different than the backstory for the movie. The movie, she was born as a human baby. In the manga,
Yeah,
it's
and the
different.
manga was a little different.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy, I think.
Yeah.
But there she is. She still turned out good though. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, she's a human baby, and she doesn't remember because of the amnesia. But just think about this. How many of us here on the panel or out in the chat remember who you were or what you were doing or whatever when you were a baby? Let's say when you're like maybe 3 months old. Anybody remember what you were like when you were 3 months old?
I don't think I remember anything until after I was like 2 at the earliest.
Yeah, the earliest.
Yeah, one thing I really remember is we were, with my father and mother, we were living in Florida, and it was like one Christmas I got a train set, and I had one of those transformers that you would run the train set with, and I dropped it on my toe. I remember that. Yeah, and I also remember we had a floor heater that had like a grate on it. And of course, I was like 3 years old or something like that. And I remember walking over it and it being really hot. But that's about the only two things I remember. But I don't remember me as a person, And I guess Alita, she's got even more going against her because she has that amnesia brought on by, being thrown off of Zalem or Jeru, depending on which one you want to believe, but whether she fell from the orbit or she fell from Zalem or Teferis, but she still ends up in the scrapyard, so, and that probably did some pretty big damage to her mind, and then even more so than any of us remember. Yeah, jealous. Yeah, I was 3 years old at one point. AKA loves that too as well. Yeah, you're right, AKA. We do remember unpleasant things because I guess it just gets indelled in our hippocampus, to the point because it was so traumatic.
Well, it seems like in general, humans tend to focus more on the negative.
Yeah.
So if like you have 100 pleasant things happen and then one negative thing happen, that one negative seems to get amplified.
Yeah, that's what you remember. That says a lot about us humans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, jealous. Yeah, it's laugh. Yes, that's true. Oh boy. Yeah, that's more years ago than I care to remember. Anyway.
Yeah.
If you could ask, let's start with a panel, and then you folks out in the chat can also be answering this question. Lee, if Alita was a real person, and you could ask her one question, what would you ask her?
Oh shit, that's probably gonna require a bit of thought there.
Yeah, it's very on the spot.
Huh.
Uncertain.
And you can't say, "Can I ask you more than one question?" Oh,
no wishing for more wishes.
Yeah, Angelus, will you marry me?
I think she's actually been asked that a couple of times in the manga.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, in that story, Sonic Fingers, she's got those guys, those two guys that just have a
three guys actually
crush on, or three guys that have an incurable crush on her.
Actually, I don't know if all three of them have a crush on her. At least one of them does. I think two of them might. But there were three guys in the Sonic Finger arc where she was basically, they were like her students, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. AKA, would you spend a year on a deserted island with me? So, Lee, anything come to mind?
Shoot.
What was your favorite? Oh, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah,
I was trying to articulate. I had a question, but I'm trying to articulate it. It's like, what sort of life do you see yourself living? I guess. Something like what kind of like, would she want to have a life where she settles down, or does she see herself as a nomadic warrior all the time, or is there some sort of other path that she could see herself in?
Mm-hmm.
Like, would she ever consider settling down in like in a small town or something, or is it yeah, I'm just a little bit at a loss as exactly what kind of question I would want to ask her.
Yeah. What about you, Vladi?
I don't know. Will you sign my Blu-ray, Alita? Or give me a selfie?
Okay, let's see. Batman ask her if she ever read any Kishiro along with any ancient literature. Yeah, I think a lot of it.
Well, go ahead, Vladi. Will you teach me how to beat up Disney execs?
Does she ever foresee a time when she would be something other than a warrior, or would she always be a warrior?
Yeah,
maybe something like that. I don't know.
That's a good question. What about you, Chaos?
Well, what's your favorite round of the tournament? I mean, I'm playing the video game, so I kind of know the story.
I think I'd ask her, I'd say, how do you feel about me being your adopted Uncle Creek? She'd probably punch me.
Or ask about how she'd feel about Ito adopting me in James Cameron's vision of the whole thing.
Oh, about how it's different. Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I mean, like, so Chaos is like the brother, I guess, if Ito takes him in. I don't know.
I think if Alita was a real person, she would really be interesting to talk to. I mean, I've been reading Lee's fanfic, and I can just picture, if I was in that story, I can just picture myself sitting there with her and Jason. That in that last chapter I read, maybe having lunch with them. Maybe I'm one of her students as well. And talking to her would probably be. I mean, somebody that's like her that's seen so much. Now she doesn't remember a lot, obviously, but she does get snippets, doesn't she?
She seems to, little bits here and there that sometimes float to the surface.
And I guess another question would be something like, and this would kind of seem like a stupid question, but what is it like being a cyborg? You know, I mean, what's you know, how do you handle that or something? You know, I mean, I guess you couldn't break it down into one question. So, Angelus, okay, Angelus, I will come to yours and Alita's wedding.
Well, in order for you to for there to be a wedding reception, you have to beat Angelus. You would have to beat Figure 4 in an arm wrestling contest. Good luck with that.
Yeah, Angelus, that might be tough. Plus, you got to get through Uncle Creek too. So, although I think Angelus is okay, he would be all right. So, yeah, what is this?
I guess I was going to ask that. Do you know that I know that there's 2 different Alitas right now?
Yeah, Finn says, "Will you adopt me?" Now, Angelus and I were considering arm wrestling when we were in Austin last year, but I kind of chickened out because I was like 2 weeks from a competition, and I didn't want to risk injuring myself. I know it sounds like a weenie thing to say, but
well, you don't want to risk anything happening that might compromise you during an upcoming competition. I can understand.
Yeah, you know. Angelus is a big fella. He's bigger than I am, that's for sure. You know, so. Yeah, it would have been interesting, wouldn't it, Angelus? Well, okay, AKA says, I'd ask Alita what she wanted to be when she grew up before the battle.
Yeah, was there something was there a childhood dream that she had that maybe she had to give up to become what she is now or something?
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah. Or, you know, something like, have you read any good books lately? Or kind of like I guess Bill Murray's character in Ghostbusters, when they saw that ghost at the beginning of the movie. Where are you from originally? Mars. Oh boy. All right, what is this? Maybe I do have some guns, maybe. Yeah, what's your favorite movie? Yeah, oh, that'd be an easy one for her to answer. Favorite song? Have you read Harry Potter?
I think that's 3 questions.
Yeah, I think so, you know. Nah, Finn, she's not from Venus. She's from Mars. She's a Martian.
Sorry, Creaky.
Yeah.
I thought this was a manga versus movie comparison stream.
It is, but we got off track.
How many more slides have we got? Because I need to think about going to bed soon.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a few more, but anyway, we can get off of this because we kind of got off the topic here.
Yeah, I'll just duck out whenever I get tired, okay?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Doc Ito. Now, we don't have any questions like that for him. I like to spend extra time on Alita because, of course, she's our girl, you know. But now the difference between the manga, I mean, in the long run, the difference, the relationship between Ito and Alita, of course, there is a difference in their name. Dyson versus Taseki Ito, you know, for sure. That's obvious. But in the manga, well, first of all, in the movie, he immediately is like a father figure, you know. In the manga at the beginning,
in fact, in the movie, he was a father, whereas that wasn't the case in the manga.
Yeah, that's right. And in the manga, he does have some creepy thoughts about Alita at the beginning, and then he kind of settles into, you know, being her like father figure, you know. But I think he's a little creepy at the beginning when he first finds her, you know, builds her, you know. So I think that's a big difference, you know. Of course, he's a cyber doctor in both of them, and he's a hunter warrior in both of them. Now,
and he's an exile from Zalem in both of them too, or yes, Tafari's in the manga. Yeah,
that's right. But I do think a really big difference in the two is that in the manga, he's a very physically capable man. You know, I mean, he's
also much younger, I think, in the manga too.
Yeah, he's like 30, isn't he, or something like that? And
seems like it, yeah.
And of course, in the movie, Ito is, Christoph
in his
Waltz.
60s.
He's like 63 or something in the movie. Now they don't go into his age in the movie, but you assume he's relatively the same age. Yeah. Now they both have the rocket hammer. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they kept that in there. So
they built the rocket hammer for different reasons. Yeah. I think in the manga, he built the rocket hammer because it was just an effective weapon for him to wield against cyborgs. And in the movie, I think he started out building it for a motorball player.
Yeah.
And then it became his own weapon after that. That's the thing. I'm not sure why he was exiled in the manga. Why was he exiled from Tefari's?
He said that he became mentally unfit to stay in there because he had urges for violence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Christoph Waltz is 68 now, but when the movie came out, he was 62 or 63, somewhere in that area, I think. Yeah, I think he's more physically capable, better fighter and all that in the manga than he is in the movie.
Yeah, in the manga, he's more in his prime physically.
Yeah. Although in the movie, Ito did go after Romo, didn't he? He cut his arm off. So I mean, that's nothing to laugh at. Yeah, in the OVA, he's a lot younger. Matter of fact, in the OVA, he might even be in his 20s.
Yeah.
Looks like Ted Danson. Maybe. Yeah, I guess he does, doesn't he? Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of the biggest thing about him, I guess. He's there's a lot of similarities, in the two. I think now in the movie he said he was a hunter warrior because he didn't make enough money in his clinic to keep the clinic open, and that he had to be a hunter warrior to keep the clinic open. But I'm not sure that was the case in the manga. I just don't remember.
It wasn't the case. He was trying to find a way to take care of his appetite for violence.
Yeah, so that's yeah, because you don't get a feeling in the movie he has an appetite for violence, except he said that I was hoping
until his child died.
Yeah, well, he did say that he wanted to kill him, but maybe he was hoping he would kill me or something like that. So
yeah, he was
in the movie. Yeah, he was kind of self-destructive a little bit at the beginning, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he kept going with it, both because the money helped him keep the clinic running and because he felt that there were more monsters out there that needed to be taken care of. So I think in the movie, he also does develop that sort of a little bit of a dark side there that the manga Ito has.
Yeah, I don't.
He said he enjoyed the motorball. It was violent, and he enjoyed.
He also enjoyed the violence of being a hunter warrior a little bit as well. That was the other thing too. Their relationship with motorball. The Ito in the manga didn't have any kind of relationship at all with
motorball. Yeah.
Whereas the one in the movie, that was one of his first things he did, is became a tuner for the games.
Well, he is good at repairing machines, but maybe not ERM technology, Finn says.
Well, ERM technology is supposed to be sort of like lost technology that's like very high end beyond what they're normally used to currently.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't be able to do that. Or it would take him a bit of effort to learn how to.
And after the war, too, the Great War, I guess the advancement of technology would be kind of put on,
well, in some places it probably backslid a bit.
Yes.
Like Iron City, it backslid to something less than what they might have originally had.
Well, it's like you see the movie, that you see of Iron City. I mean, yeah, granted it's dystopian and all, but there are elements of Iron City that we today would recognize,
Mm-hmm.
like electric lights and stuff like that, we would understand that. That tells me that they were really set back a lot during that war, and they gradually got back, and then other facets of the technology really accelerated, like, cybernetic organisms, the technology just exploded, so.
Yeah. That's the other thing. He was fairly manipulative of her in the manga.
Yes.
I think he eventually stopped doing that for the most part, but it was something he kept trying to do, just sort of keep her in his life and keep some level of control over her. But I think he finally grew out of that after a while.
Well, I think too for him that he didn't, I remember there was a panel in the manga where, he and Alita had a falling out, and he finally goes back to her, and they kind of reconnect to a degree where he said that he was, that she was his only family, and that
that was in the where she was in the motorball thing.
Yeah, and then finally, well, she came around, didn't she? She's, with Ito or something like that, and of course,
she realized how much he cared about her.
Yeah,
even if he was a little bit of a jerk at times, but that kind of happens in real life too. People who care about you can sometimes be a bit of a jerk towards you because, for one reason or another.
Well, I think he was also overprotective of her too. I think,
Yeah. Well, there was a bit of possessiveness, I think, with the manga Ito.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And with the movie Ito, it was more overprotectiveness because he kept trying to think of her as his little girl, and she wasn't.
Yeah. She's not, Angelus, this is something, Angelus says this, Lottie, you appreciate this. I can imagine Ito storming Bob Iger's office and asking about those sequels.
Definitely.
Yes.
With his hammer ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you were to call Disney, I'm getting off track here, but I wonder if you called Disney and requested a meeting with Bob Iger, if they would take you seriously.
You'd have to go through like the 7 layers of hell or whatever it is from Dante's Inferno to get to him.
Yeah.
7 levels.
Okay. So yeah, I think broadly speaking, the manga and movie versions of Ito are fairly
they're pretty
same,
similar,
but the details when you dig into it, they're very different at certain levels.
I preferred Ito Wells so far in the movie.
Yeah, I kind of prefer the movie version of it too.
Yeah, I do.
I like the manga version well enough for what he is in the manga, but I prefer the movie version of him.
Angelus invite Bob Iger to Radio Chaos. We couldn't let Lottie in on that one.
Get him on with me really drunk.
Okay, well, anyway, I think we hit that one good enough because I think we've determined that, in principle, they're pretty similar, but the details are different. No motorball for the manga. He's a lot younger in the manga. He's more physically capable. And he, the similarities are, I guess, eventually he becomes more of a father figure to her than Ito does in the movie. Ito starts out with a fatherly perspective of Alita, but in the manga, he's a little creepy in the beginning, and then he comes around as her father, stuff like that. So, okay, well, I wish Panini Freak was here because she would love this. Her and Random Bomb, they'd love this.
This is another character who I much prefer the movie version of to the manga version.
Yeah, the manga version, he's a little shit, isn't he? That's what he is. So,
He's got more backstory though in the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the novelization for the movie, it does provide all the backstory that was missing from the movie. So unfortunately, it's like a lot of the stuff they wanted to put in there, but just didn't have the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, his relationship with Alita in the movie, of course, Hugo in the beginning sees Alita as what may be a means to get to Zalem because she's been there, But
potential profit margin.
Yeah, that's right. But I do think that eventually he does fall in love with her, and he's, well, he says so in the church, But I think the manga version, he doesn't really fall in love with her until the very end, when he's basically about to fall,
I'm not even sure at the very end that the manga version actually you know, falls in love with her, but I think he does care about her to some degree, at least.
Well, I think he regrets not having more time to get to know her. I think he said something like that, didn't he?
He might have. I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, his relationship with Alita in the movie and the manga are different. You know, he just, in the manga, he doesn't really care about her at all. He's just, you know, he just sees somebody that's hanging around with him and, you know, whatever. You know, he doesn't really give her a second thought until the very end. But in the movie version, you know, Hugo, I think, really does care for her, you know, after
it's much more of a two-way street with their feelings in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Now, in the movie, of course, Hugo's a cyborg jacker, but in the manga, I guess you could say he is too, but he's actually into stealing people's spines, isn't he?
Which apparently were, for whatever reason, much harder for people to get replaced or something.
Yeah.
Which seemed kind of odd.
Yeah.
To me, at least, but it's one of those things I just kind of glossed over.
Yeah. And I think in the movie version, you know, Hugo's a he can be a motorball coach, because you remember Alita said, "I'll only try out if you're my coach," and he says, "Well, that's what."
I don't think he had any kind of connection to motor. This is another character like Ito. I don't think in the manga he had any kind of connection to motorball, but the movie version, they made motorball such a well, for lack of a better term, national sport, that a lot of people have a connection to motorball one way or another.
And I think he had an intimate connection with motorball, because all of those tuners and mechanics and all these people knew him when they went, you know, when he took Alita back to meet, you know, to see.
The movie Ito was a tuner. The movie Hugo was a supplier for the games, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was prominent, prevalent, very sort of.
And Manga's like, "Let's run away together, but first I got to take a leak." Yeah. I don't know if he'd want to run away with her though, AKA. Maybe not, you know. Yeah, the only thing about Hugo in the movie that what I've come to terms with, you know, because I think you guys have all heard me say that my feelings about him have evolved, you know, because Alita did care for him. But, you know, the biggest thing that bothered me is that, you know, when he jacked those grind cutters off of a Kanuba, and then of course, you know, he in the Kansas bar, he saw that now Gerwishka has them. So, you know, and the look on his face was like, "Oh shit, those are the grind cutters that I got off of Kanuba," you know. And then even after that, knowing that you know, Gerwishka tried to kill Alita, then even after that, he's still
with Vector. Yeah,
he still dealt with Victor and had drinks with him and all that.
Well, that was him still holding on to that dream of getting there and willing to do whatever it takes. And it wasn't until much later that he finally realizes he loves Alita more than, you know, selling everything for that dream.
Artificial spines in the manga, constructed by
nanomachines. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess it still didn't really make a lot of sense to me, considering all the other stuff they were able to construct, and considering that the spine is sort of like a very vital component to a body. You would need a very strong and sturdy spine for a very strong and sturdy body. So not having that seems to me it would be very difficult for any full cyborg to really exist.
Yeah. Yeah, AKA says he's sorry that he hated missing the showdown between Vector and Hugo in the movie. Yeah, because that was Alita that had the showdown with him in the movie. So.
Yeah, again, it was unfortunately, I think it was the time constraints. They just weren't able to do all of that.
Yeah.
Really wish they would have added a half hour to it, but you know, what have you?
Yeah, they could. Well, they cut out a half hour, so they could have added a half hour. You know,
well, budget constraints, unfortunately, I think forced them to drop a half hour off it.
Yeah, what a shame too. I would have loved to have seen the scene where, Hugo
would love to have a director's cut or something that adds a lot of that back in. At least
they may do. They may do
minutes.
that. They may do that when they greenlight the sequel. We'll probably see a 2.5-hour movie.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yes, that'd be great. And I'd love to see that segment where he's training Alita, and he tries to hit her with a 2x4, or whatever it was in the novelization, and she just basically, he puts her arm up and it busts over her forearm, and she just jumps on top of him, about to punch him, and he says, "Did anything come back?" And she just, no.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lottie? Do you like the Hugo version in the movie or the one in the manga?
I like him in the movie, but he's obviously a bit dim.
Yeah.
But he's nice to Alita.
Yes, he is.
Well, he was very focused on that dream, I think is what it was, that made him sort of blind to quite a bit of anything that was outside of that very narrow vision.
Yeah.
We got two Chaos Novas here. So,
sorry, before Chaos comes in, I'm just going to go now because I'm getting pretty sleepy.
All righty.
All right there, Vladdy.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Good night,
all right,
guys.
Thanks for joining us.
See ya. I told you I'll be better behaved today.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, Chaos, what do you think? Do you like, which version of Hugo do you like the best?
He might be preoccupied.
Yep. All right, well, let's move on then. Okay, the rest of these characters are not, they don't play that much of a role in the movie. They do, but I mean, it's not as much as, say, Alita, Hugo, and Ito do. But there's one obvious difference here, right?
Yep.
One of them's a nurse and a female and a black lady, and the other one is a male white guy who is a cyber doctor.
Much older too, and he was apparently a heavy drinker.
And definitely not as good looking either.
Yep.
So I mean, because Idara Vector, she's really nice looking if you ask me. But anyway,
yep.
And of course she's a. Say again, Chaos.
My device went to sleep.
Oh. So anyway, yeah, I think, but now they both help Ito. I mean,
yeah.
It
well, I think it's also in different capacities too, because I remember Gonzu was more of a sort of like a friend who assisted him, and Gerhard was hired on as a nurse because he needed somebody to help him. And then I think they start becoming friends in the movie because their relationship is very professional. And in the novelization especially, I got the impression that Gerhard had certain lines she could not cross or she would get fired, no matter how much Ito liked having her around as a assistant.
Well, she's an employee. So, I mean, yeah. And Finn says, I like Gerhard, looks better like in the manga. Well, actually, Finn, Gerhard's not in the manga. Now, if you mean if she looks better than Gonzu in the manga, yes. Absolutely. She looks a lot better.
Gerhard is, I do definitely find Gerhard far more attractive than Gonzu.
Yes. Yeah. It looks like Gonzu's got a drinking problem too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Gonzu was also a bit of a heavy drinker in the manga too, and I didn't get any impression of that from Gerhard. She seemed to keep herself sober a lot, probably for a number of reasons.
Yeah. What is this that AKA said back up here? What will you do if I'll be a beggar? Well, that was the inference, because what did he say? He said
without missing a beat, I'll be a beggar. Like he didn't care that he had to be on the lowest rung as long as he got to Tafari's in the manga.
Well, and Vector told him, that was the one redeeming quality of Vector. He said, we up there, we'd be at the bottom of the food chain, but down here, live like kings, you know.
Well, I think part of it was in the movie version of Vector, he was trying to dissuade Hugo from going up there because he liked having Hugo around as an effective employee, because he was good at getting the things that Vector needed getting.
Yes. Yes,
but
indeed.
Because that was the other thing too, is that Vector knew there was no way in hell he was going to be able to get Hugo up there. I mean, he was conning him.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You know, you wouldn't tell him you're going to go up there and I'm going to get you up there if you wanted to keep him down here and you knew you couldn't get him up there. And probably Nova wouldn't want Hugo anyway, because there's really nothing extraordinary about Hugo, is there? I mean, he's just a guy that.
Not really. He was a regular guy. I mean, he was talented at what he did, but there wasn't anything about him, you know, particularly outstanding beyond that.
And see, that talent wouldn't serve him very well up in Zala.
I mean, he had to be pretty smart to be able to do the things he was doing. He also knew how to keep himself out of trouble. That takes a bit of smarts. But beyond that, he was just a guy trying to get to trying to attain a dream that he felt would make his life better, despite the fact that it probably wouldn't.
Yeah, was it Milton said, I'd rather serve in hell than I'd rather what was something like I'd rather serve in hell than serve in heaven.
Yeah, that was actually a line that Vector used on him.
Yes.
Like, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven, because down here I can live like king. I can live like a king. But up in there we'd be at the bottom of the
rollerball too. No one
That was one of the lines Vector tried to use to sort of, maybe try and convince Hugo that he would be better off down in Iron City.
Yeah, and Angela says street smarts in Iron City is a lot different than they're up in Zalem. So I don't think they have too many soup kitchens up in Zalem, so he might starve to death.
Yeah.
All right. So
one of the things he would be Zalem, Tefari's, either one, but they're both like very well-oiled machines. Everybody in the society has a function they fulfill, and him coming up there would mean that he would be sort of like this extra that has no use.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect and perfectly controlled lives.
Well, here's a good point that Badman makes. The MIB is trying to eradicate any non-citizens. If he got up there somehow, he'd be one of the first ones to go, wouldn't he? So,
Well, that's the thing. They just don't allow you up there.
And the answer to Finn's question is
yes. It is much cleaner.
Yeah. It'd be similar to, say, maybe some of the better
sparkly clean
cities. Yeah. All right. Well, we hit that one good enough, I think. What about Gruishka and Makaku?
Very different backgrounds again.
Yeah.
Gruishka was a guy who became a talented motorball player and then fell to drug addiction and arrogance. And Makaku was someone who was discarded by his mother and spent his entire life growing up in the sewers.
Well, so was Gruishka, but Makaku was never a.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't get the impression that Gruishka spent his entire life down there. He spent a good bit of it down there, though.
Yeah, maybe you're right. And Makaku wasn't a motorball player, so.
Yeah. Again, there's a big difference. It's like in the movie, motorball played a big part in everybody's lives, and in the manga, it was something I think that Kishiro added on at a certain point because he wanted it to be something that Alita went through as part of her arc.
Yeah. So and they did in the movie. They couldn't go into Grishka's backstory like they did in the manga either. So
they were both creations of Nova, but the function their connection to Nova was rather different. Makaku was just a creation that was made by Nova and then unleashed to see how he could overcome his karma, as it were. And the Gruishka in the movie was created by Nova, but continued being a servant of Nova. He was Nova's champion.
Yeah.
Doing Nova's bidding. He continued maintaining that connection to Nova.
Yeah, didn't Makaku in the manga, he killed Kanuba and ate his brains, didn't he, or something like that?
At the very least, he usurped his body. He basically pulled his
Yeah.
core out and took over because he had that
Yeah.
ability built into his own core that was specially made by Nova.
Yeah. I think one big difference too is in the manga, Alita had a little bit of empathy for Makaku at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the movie, she had no empathy for him.
Yeah.
She just
in the novelization, she did have a little bit, but only very little, and that was only for the person he could have been, and decided not to be.
Not to be, yeah. All right, well, I think we hit that one good enough because we're approaching 2 hours. So now here's a guy right here. Now I could have had him up at the front with some more detail, but they're pretty similar, you know, in the movie and in the manga.
Yeah.
You know,
again, I think it's more that the movie version of Zapan fell prey to the not enough time to develop his backstory sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of a similar problem with all of the characters aside from the main characters.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they had a lot they wanted to do, but just weren't able to.
Well, he's a hunter warrior in both of them, so you see there he's going to collect.
He's a big believer in the lone wolf sort of way of life.
Yeah,
and doesn't believe much in mercy or compassion.
Yeah, which he doesn't even in the manga or in the movie, does he?
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically
Now he kills Tanji in the manga too, doesn't he?
In the manga, I don't know.
Bad man, you're out there. I think he does.
He did.
I don't think there's a Tanji in the manga.
Yeah, there. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a Tanji in the manga, Lee.
Okay.
I think there is. Bad man or Chaos. Is there a Tanji in the manga?
Engaged, but the guy with Hugo was trying to steal from Zapan, and Zapan killed him.
Yeah, that's right.
He wasn't really.
Yeah, because I remember seeing him. So in the manga, he only had like just a couple of panels, though. He wasn't. You know, he didn't have much of a story in there. Yeah, poor Tanji. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the two other guys that are with him that Zapan kills, with Hugo that Zapan kills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the movie, you know, that the one guy that was helping Tanji, Jack Demetrius.
Yeah, he runs off. Gets the hell out.
Yeah, he runs off and doesn't get killed. I think that was they called him Biff. I think in the movie, he was that guy.
Or in the novelization, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see, Hugo's other friend might be called Van. Yeah. Van Morrison? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, these two guys are pretty similar in the manga and the movie for sure. You know, neither one of them like Alita. Yeah. I don't think in the manga, Zapan didn't ask Alita if he could buy her a drink. He does in the movie, you know, can I buy you a drink? If you ditch Meat Boy over there and let me buy you a drink or something, he says.
Yeah, in the manga, it doesn't seem that he had any inclination towards her at all.
Yeah. All right, what is AKA when he first claps? Yeah, and he has no such feelings. Yeah, that's kind of what Lee was saying. So, yeah. Okay, I'm really looking forward in the sequel seeing him as Zerker-Pan. That is going to be, because I really like Ed Skrein. I think he's a great actor. He's super. You know,
I'm still honestly a little skeptical that that'll even make an appearance in there. I mean, it would be great if it did, but I have some doubts that they'll be able to swing that.
Yeah, well, we shall see.
Yeah. But
it would sure be cool if they did.
Yep.
And then Alita take him down just like she did, you know. What's this one? used to be famous. Yeah, I've never seen that movie, so he was really good in Midway. He was super good, and he played a guy named, oh gosh, I want to say Matt Best. I don't think it was Matt, but he was a fighter pilot, but not a fighter pilot. He was a dive bomber pilot, and it's a true story that his character. Now of course they made some Hollywood changes to it, but that guy Best, I can't remember his first name. He actually dropped bombs on all three of the carriers, on three of the four carriers, that's at the Battle of Midway, and he Best, it was pretty similar to the movie too, I mean, he, dive bombed them and dropped, the third, on the third carrier, he dropped like a 1,000-pound bomb or something on it. Of course, you can imagine what that would do. So anyway, but he was great, in that movie. I really loved it. Okay, in that movie, I used to be famous. He played the keyboard. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, I guess we can move on. And there's a big difference right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's a sword, and the other's almost like a big switchblade or
butterfly knife, I think.
Yeah, butterfly knife or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Of course, they represent the same thing, I think, but I don't recall Alita actually engulfing that butterfly Damascus blade down at the bottom with plasma. She made
no, it was just a regular blade. It didn't have any special properties to it except for the material that it was made of. It was made of like a really high quality, highly durable steel alloy of some sort. Yeah.
Whereas the Damascus blade in the movie was made from an exotic material. I guess it'd be similar to Beskar or something like that, I think,
Possibly. I think, but if nothing else, it was designed specifically to work alongside a berserker body.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be used. It was meant to be used with a berserker systems as sort of an extension of the berserker body.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
There was a blacksmith who actually made a real life version of that.
Yes.
And it was a working one. It actually worked. It was extremely awkward.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's got a YouTube channel called Hacksmith or something like that.
Something like that. I remember he actually put it together, and even with a lot of strength, it would be, I think, really awkward to use that effectively. I mean, it was not a particularly
practical weapon.
It wasn't a very graceful weapon.
Yeah.
From what I saw.
Although as strong as Alita is, I bet she could wield it pretty easily, I think. A human would have problems with it for sure. Even a strong human would have trouble with that thing,
Yeah.
Now the Damascus blade up top there, yeah, any human could use it. They couldn't do the plasma thing with it, obviously, but because remember, Zapan had it. He didn't have any plasma emitters, so he was not really using it to its full potential, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently had a very, very sharp edge that could cut through just about anything, or cut into just about anything, at least.
Yeah, forged by the metallurgists and using technology, I think Zapan said something like that. So, okay, well there's a big difference right there. They kind of have the same function, except that the butterfly thing at the bottom doesn't have any.
Yeah, and the one in the manga wasn't being used by Zapan either, if I remember correctly. She didn't take it from Zapan. It was crafted by one of the scrapyards metalsmiths who used a Damascus style of like crafting to make the blade.
Yeah, and in the movie there was no either. It was something else.
Well, in the manga there was no
Yeah, the manga. Did I say movie? I meant to say manga. Manga. Uh-oh, got me. I said manga. Okay. Okay. Now this is pretty similar. Of course, I mean, how many ways can you represent a floating city? I guess.
Yeah.
But
the designs are a little bit different. The movie version doesn't have as much of a sort of an enclosure around it. It looks like.
Yeah.
All the buildings and everything look to be much more out in the open. It's less of a enclosure keeping everything inside. Yeah.
Plus that elevator tube in the middle, space elevator, is a lot thicker in the manga than it is in the movie. You see how they're relatively different. And I think the movie version of Zalem is bigger, I think, or at least you get that feeling.
Could be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess we lost. Oh, okay. Chaos put something in there. I want to copy that. Put it in the chat. So, okay, folks, there's Chaos's. That's that stream I think he did today. So, yeah, but this is where everybody wants to get to, I guess, down there, isn't it? Chaos has chaos, he says, I think he just had
experiencing a bit of chaos,
Yeah, well, he's got young kids with him, so he's got to watch those guys, I guess. So. But anyway, not a lot of other differences, are there? I mean, they're both attached to, well,
that's the thing. We haven't seen inside the movie version. So we don't know exactly what the interior's like. We know quite a bit about Tefari's with the MIB and the GIB and all that. Yeah. But we haven't seen anything, really, about the interior of Zalem, the inner workings of its society or anything like that. We get hints of it in the novelization, but that's about it.
Yeah. And, of course, I think there, it does look like that space elevator in the middle of Zalem in the movie is connected to something up there anyway. So you can only assume that Jeru is up there, I guess. And of course, in the manga, it's going to be Catheri's, I guess. So, yeah. But they're pretty
apparently,
similar
the bad man is saying that in the manga, Ed gets his friend Ram Dao to make the original Damascus blade for Alita for the motorball games. And then the GIB repurposes it to the butterfly sword when she becomes a tuned agent.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, I think we got that one good enough. Now, there are some other characters. Some are not in the manga that are in the movie. Now, certainly, Adjikuti, I think, is in both of the movie and the manga. Shirin is not.
Yep.
Jashigan is, and they're different because now we don't get enough of Jashigan in the movie, just that one scene, I guess, in the motorball thing. But he's not Emperor Jashigan in the movie like he is in the manga. I mean, he doesn't have the ability in the movie to take on an entire motorball team like he does.
I suspect it's going to be more like what Maxie did for his story, where it's just before Alita goes up against Jashigan. Jashigan gets augmented by Nova to turn him into a greater threat.
Yeah.
And then he becomes Emperor Jashigan.
Yeah, then that's right after Nova gets a hold of him, And then Kanuba, of course, is in both.
Except he's, I think he's an arena fighter in the manga.
And the manga, and he's a motorball player in the movie. So, and the circumstances behind their death is different too. Makaku kills Kanuba in the manga, and then Vector kills Kanuba in the movie. So
because he won't take a fall.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess, he's Kanuba in the movie is he's messing up the odds, I think is what.
Yeah,
Vector
he won't take a fall. When Vector tells him, Vector is trying to manipulate the games to keep the odds in within a certain range, and Kanuba refuses to play ball with him.
Yes.
So he has to get rid of him.
Literally, huh? Yeah, I've left out a bunch of them. One of them is glaringly obvious, and I should have thought of was Nova. He's a major. Yeah. Now, we didn't get a lot of him in the movie, but, you know, we can still talk about him. Now, Screwhead is not in the manga. You know, she's in the movie.
She is purely a creation of Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron.
I'm glad they did, because I want to see Screwhead in the movie, in the sequel.
Well, I thought her motorball body was neat too, having the 2 extra arms and all that.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Vector, he's in both. Now, he's a little bit different, isn't he? I think we mentioned a while ago, he's more like a crime lord in
the manga. He's just running a crime syndicate, and he's doing it on behalf of the factory, which is why he's allowed to do the things he's doing, because he's helping facilitate the factory's operations. In the movie, he has become basically a servant of the factory and by extension Nova, and in fact is sometimes controlled directly by Nova, because he's got that telepresence system installed in his head.
So anyway, that's but yeah, he's in both. Now Nova is obviously, I should have put him in there. I don't know why I didn't. My brain wasn't working, I guess.
Yeah, in the manga he's a exile from Tefaris, and in the movie he's running Zolom.
Yeah.
So that's a big change there, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think he's actually going to be more of a, as somebody else pointed out, I think some time ago in a previous episode, the Nova in the movie is going to be more of a blending of Nova and Aga Embody.
Could be. Oh, you think they're going to bring him back then?
Nova?
Yeah.
Well, Nova hasn't left yet.
Oh no, I was thinking Vector. No, Vector's not coming back in the movie, I don't think. Oh, he might, but I don't think so.
You never know.
Nova,
could be. But yeah, with Nova, he's going to be more of a combination of the Nova of the manga and of Aga Embody from the Last Order.
Yeah. With
his ability to hack into and control things and stuff the way that Embody can do.
Yeah. I can't think of it now. There's a whole bunch of characters in the, you know, like one I don't have up here, of course, is Koyomi. She should be up here.
Oh yeah.
She's quite different in the movie than she is in the manga.
Yes, very different.
She's
the way that she and Alita meet are very different. The way that the two their relationship is very different because of the differences inherent in both of them.
Yeah, I think
that's a good question. Is like, would the Koyomi in the movie get involved with the Barjack? And if so, how does she get involved with him? Because that could be a bit different.
Yeah, and she's not like a journalist, is she?
Not yet, at least. I mean, that could change in the sequels.
Yeah, and Alita meets her as a baby in the manga.
Yeah, rescues her in fact from Makaku, and in the movie she's a friend of Hugo's that she gets introduced to, and has become as more of a peer.
Yeah, and of course Tanji should be up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like I say, there's a whole bunch of characters that are in the manga that are not in the movie.
Yeah, there's a whole slew of them, and that's
God. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many more.
Yeah. Now, in terms of storylines, it's pretty different. I mean, the backstory for both of them, you know, I mean, if you saw those extras on the DVD or on the DVD, it's the backstory of Alita is quite different than it is in the manga. You know, mangas, like we mentioned a while ago, it's a little creepy in the manga, and I'm not going to say anything because if anybody
as I think is become typical for Kishiro, there's a bit more body horror in the manga origin for Alita.
Yeah, as opposed to in the movie, her backstory, at least according to those extras, she's just born as a human baby on Mars.
And apparently gets inducted into the Berserker program in one fashion or another through some means.
Well, I think what happens in the backstory is her parents get killed, and she basically, she
gets taken up as a child soldier
by the soldier. Yeah, that's right. Kind of like that movie Soldier, you know, with Kurt Russell. It's kind of like that.
Also reminds me of the Spartan program from Halo.
Yes, it does actually.
Because actually the Spartans in Halo are kind of cyborgs. They've got some augmentations in them that allow them to interface with their armor.
Yeah. Now in the movie, we don't have much. We got Motorball. They have Motorball in the manga. They got,
but it plays a much bigger part in the movie, though, because it's introduced almost immediately, and it is so far-reaching throughout. It's ubiquitous in Iron City, as opposed to the Scrapyard, where in some cases, like I think Hugo in the manga doesn't even like Motorball. Yeah.
Let's see, in the manga, a lot of characters fall in love with Lita, but in the movie, it's just Hugo.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, that could be cut down or attributed to the lack of time to develop, more.
I don't know. I think there's a whole bunch of Alita Army people that fell in love with Alita.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly one of them's Angelus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very large roster of characters in the manga that they haven't even touched on in the movies yet.
Yeah. Well, one thing I guess we could say too about this week before we wrap things up, I guess, and I should have put it in there and mentioned it when Angelus is out there, but she's got uwu in both the movie and in the manga.
Yep.
So, hey, that's the way it works, I guess. I mean, look at that shot right there. Yeah, she's definitely got uwu. There's no doubt about it,
Mm-hmm.
I think Angelus is probably not watching because he would be commenting right now about that uwu. So anyway, but he's not. So anyway.
I was going to mention, I think Kishiro has a certain fondness for body horror in his stories.
I think
with as much of it as he puts in.
I mean, yeah. Finn, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, in the manga, a lot of these, well, not a lot of them. I know Makaku was doing it. He would kill these people and eat their brains, to get the endorphins out of them, I guess,
Yeah. I got the impression, I think he was in pain or something like that, and he did that to kill the pain.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, God, that's some body horror right there, eating people's brains. I mean, holy shit.
Well, also body horror, like what happens to people and how they get twisted and turned into things, like what Nova does to some of the people that the Granted Inn.
Yeah.
I mean, they live these horrific lives that he just turns them into these like experiments, and they're just in hell.
Yeah. Yeah, Nova's a bastard, that's for sure.
Yeah. I enjoy watching him die.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
in that way, I'm kind of glad he made some clones because I get to watch him die a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't think of anything else. Lee, can you? Did we miss anything?
Nothing really pops into my head. No.
No, we did leave out some characters. That's sure, because there's a.
Oh yeah, there's so many we could have touched on.
Yeah.
I think there's too many actually to get to within the time we've got.
But I think we hit it pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
And as you can see from that center panel there, Alita loves her Uncle Creek, and that's because he wants a sequel just like she does. So.
Yep.
Anyway. There's our queen right there, and of course Rose is great. She's #1 in the Creek's book in terms of being an actor, and she's stunning. She's not only pretty, but I mean she's just a superb, great actor, man. She's just great. I mean she knocked mine and Charlie's head off when we were at the Pasadena Playhouse. I mean she's just really, really good.
Yep.
And I want to give it. Shout out to Eldamont and Jesse Fisher because they brought Screwhead to life. And what I want to see, as I say every week, I want to see Screwhead and Alita kind of team up. Screwhead's really pissed off at the whole situation, being manipulated by Nova and all that. And she's just pissed off. And as Elle said in that interview, she's going to make up with Alita. And she says, girl, let's just burn it all down. Yeah, that would be cool, And of course, Jessie is a really great stunt woman. She's just really super duper.
Yep.
You know, so and as Elle said, she's the most badass stunt woman she ever worked with. So that's saying a lot right there. So we want all three of these superb professionals to be in the sequel. You know.
Yep.
What? Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did at the beginning. We actually went, but he is right about one thing though. We did kind of get off track, and the creek did that. So a couple of times, but oh well, you know.
Oh, just one last comment on my thing. You've read through chapter 25, so the next chapter is going to give you another dose of Nova.
Oh, lovely. Okay, yeah, I got to get to it then. You know. Nah, it's okay, AKA, no problem.
It happens.
Well, let's throw that slide back up there so AKA can see it anyway. Let's see, where is it? There it is. And then, of course, we went through this, AKA.
Yep.
That we spent more time on Alita than we did the others because we have to.
Well, she's a main character. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to spend more time on her. So. Okay. Oh, Angelus is out there. Angelus, you missed the uwu statement. Yeah. Oh, what was that? He was still waking up. Oh, I guess right. That's right. He's an Aussie, and I think he's an hour behind Angelus. No, Angelus. Well, I don't know. AKA, does Melbourne have? Do you guys have daylight saving time? I don't know. Maybe you do. You know, I don't know. Anyway, tomorrow we're on same time. He says, okay, they're on the same time. Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow Radio Chaos. So we're gonna. This is one of my topics right here, and we're gonna talk about how Alita redeems herself. And then and I'm not going to go into any details here because I don't want to spoil, but just to briefly say, Alita was I don't want to use the word psychotic, but when she was a warrior for the she was basically a killer, is what she was.
She was cold-blooded.
Yeah, exactly. And she turned out different, in the manga that we know, not Mars Chronicles so much, but the original manga. So, what took place and all that. And we'll have some discussions along the way, questions for folks in the chat and that kind of thing, So anyway, join us tomorrow on that. Now, I'm not going to be the host. I'm just, I think Maxie's going to be the host if I'm not mistaken. But you could be Angelus. I don't know. But now I could host it for sure. I mean, it is my topic, but I think one of those two guys are going to be the host. But we'll have a lot of fun on this for sure. And just want to, thank folks that came on. Thank all you guys out there for being, for watching the stream. Everybody in the chat. Thanks for Lee for joining. Lee's become a regular. He's not really a guest anymore. He just, he just shows up and keeps things moving along. I think helps.
That's
and
right.
yeah, exactly. And I want you guys to stick around too for the end because I got a special surprise for folks out there. That you're going to really love the outro. So anyway, we'll show you that. But anyway, yeah, thanks everybody for actually coming to watch us and participate in our discussions and all that kind of stuff. We really enjoy it, and we really love talking about our girl for sure and our queen. We like talking about her as well, And if you guys, I guess, if you want to join us after the stream, we'll, I'm gonna put a link in the chat here, and you can click on that link, and you can come on the stream. Of course, you can come on the stream right now if you want, but we do not stream the Stammtisch. That's or the after party. We don't do that. It's just us talking. And we just have, we talk about various things. We'll even show photos and images and stuff and just have a good old time talking, but it's just us. It's like a Zoom call or like a Microsoft Teams call. Nobody on YouTube.
Stream get together.
Exactly. And nobody on YouTube will see the after party. So if that worries you a little bit, then you can rest assured that, you know, the stream will be over when we're in the after party. So just click on that link and I'll bring you in. We are the Alita Army. We definitely support our girl Alita and our queen Rosa passionately and positively. And we are the most positive fandom on the internet. And we are here to say, guess who's just showed up at the very last second, Lee? It's an Angeli.
Uh-huh.
Very angelic.
Yeah, yeah. G'day, mate.
G'day.
So what's going on?
At work at the moment, 12-hour shift, and will be tomorrow as well.
Are you off work now? Or are you going home or what?
Oh no, day shift.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna be on the? You gonna be on Radio Chaos some more?
No.
Okay, so just Maxie will be the host, I guess.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, like I say, we are the most positive fandom on the internet. You know, we love our girl, we love our queen, and we just want to support them as much as we can. So why is this image here? Well, that image is there because I like it. And to paraphrase Gruwishka, I'm only here for our girl. And our queen and the Alita Army. We're here for them. So that's the way that works. So anyway, I guess that only leaves us with one thing left to do, and that is the call to action. And that would be on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Film sequels, baby.
Sequels, baby. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos, and we'll see you next week on the Alita Livestream, where I will be streaming from the gigantic city of Lindale, North Carolina. So anyway, we'll see you guys there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.